Hey y'all, my name is Talking Tom, and I would personally like to welcome you to the Governance Department's update. Firstly, I'd like to introduce you to Tammy Desmoulin, the Governance Coordinator.
As most of you know me, my name is Tammy Desmoulin. I'm the Governance Coordinator for Pick River. This summer I'm pleased to have Danielle and Ashley working with me. They'll be doing some research, and by the end of the summer they'll have written a paper for me which will assist me in drafting our Constitution. Since the last newsletter, the Governance Department has been quite busy with a lot of research and drafting. Although the right to self-determination is not a new topic, it's actually quite new for First Nations to implement. Currently, I do have a first draft of our Constitution completed, but community input is required. This summer we will be holding community engagement sessions which will be seeking your knowledge and input into our Constitution. It is important to remember that this Constitution will affect many generations to come. Now, another issue the Governor's Department has been addressing is the repeal of Section 67 of the Canadian Human Rights Act. Now, if you're wondering what repeal means, it means to reverse or remove a law. Now, what is the Canadian Human Rights Act? It is a federal law which protects all people in Canada from discrimination. Under this act, people who feel they have experienced discrimination by a federally regulated service provider or employer can make a complaint to the Canadian Human Rights Commission. So what was Section 67 of the Canadian Human Rights Act? Essentially, Section 67 meant that nothing in the Canadian Human Rights Act affected any provision of the Indian Act or any provision made under or pursuant to the Indian Act. Now, basically, for more than 30 years, Section 67 of the Canadian Human Rights Act prevented people from filing discrimination complaints resulting from the application of the Indian Act. During this time, discrimination complaints could not be brought against the government of Canada or First Nations governments. Thus, since June 18, 2011, Section 67 was repealed, and now First Nations people fall under the Canadian Human Rights Act and have the same protection from discrimination as the rest of Canada.
Oh, hello again. Now here... As I was saying before, here is one of the summer students, Ashley Nabagon.
Hello, my name is Ashley Nabagon, and in the fall I will be continuing the Law Clerk program at Fanshawe College. My summer employment position is Governance Coordinator Assistant. Throughout the summer I intend on learning about the rights of Aboriginal law and the impact major cases have on our community. Where do we as First Nations get our authority from to be self-governed and develop our own constitution? Mainly First Nations get our source of authority from inherent jurisdiction. Essentially, the Canadian legal system has acknowledged that we as Anishinaabe people were self-governed nations prior to the arrival of Europeans in North America. Thus, First Nations governments have the authority under existing Canadian law to exercise jurisdiction. We are nations, we always have been nations. As nations, we inherit rights which have never been given up. We have the rights to our own forms of government. We have the right to determine our own citizens. We have the right to self-determination.
Come on! Oh, hey! Now I'd like to introduce you to another one of our summer students, Danielle Robinson.
Hello, my name is Danielle Robinson. In the fall, I plan on attending the University of Western Ontario in their Biological and Medical Science program. My summer job this year is a governance researcher under Tammy Desmoulin. A constitution is a system of well-organized, written documents that establish rules and principles by which a nation or organization is governed. Historically, First Nations people operated under unwritten constitutions such as the rules of natural law. Today, people look at written documents for stability and consistency. A constitution in our community would give us the ability to have the structures to do things for our community, to make laws, and to even govern ourselves. Business in the community will also be more attractive through the requirements that represent equality and fairness. Finally, a constitution is, in effect, a declaration of independence. Throughout the summer, I hope to learn more about the importance of a constitution and the steps in forming one in our community.
This completes our update from the Governance Department. Should you have any questions or concerns for us, please do not hesitate to stop by the band office and pay us a visit. You might have cake. Or not. See ya. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching.